He thought his robe made him untouchable, until today. It was supposed to be just another day at the federal courthouse. But for Judge Marshall Davis, it started with fury and ended with federal handcuffs. "No coffee in my courtroom," he snapped at his clerk, slamming his papers down with a scowl. The young woman flinched, almost spilling the files in her hands. He stormed toward the bench, already red in the face, muttering about delays and conservative circus cases. Everyone in the gallery watched with caution. Davis had a reputation not just as a tough judge, but as a man whose disdain for conservative figures was becoming impossible to ignore. "Your Honor," the clerk whispered, "Vice President Vance has arrived for his testimony." Davis paused, sneered. "Well, well. Not every day we host the White House's favorite golden boy. Make sure he knows, this is not the Senate. In my courtroom, his title means nothing." Minutes later, JD Vance entered the chamber. Calm, focused. He wore a modest navy blue suit, no flashy entourage, just a quiet respect for the process. As he approached the witness stand, Davis leaned forward. "Let's get something clear," the judge said, voice dripping with contempt. "I don't care who you are in Washington. In here, I am the law. Are we understood, Mr. Vance?" Vance gave a slight nod. "Crystal clear, Your Honor. I'm here simply as a witness to the truth." "Truth?" Davis scoffed, laughing bitterly. "Let's see what kind of truth the Vice President of Fairy Tales has to offer." He slammed his gavel down, and the hearing began. The courtroom settled, cameras clicked, the tension thickened. JD Vance stood tall as he raised his right hand, ready to swear in. "Stand up straight," Davis barked, though Vance's posture was already impeccable. "And speak clearly. I don't want political doublespeak polluting my courtroom." "I understand, Your Honor," Vance said, composed. As he began his testimony, the gallery leaned in. "I can personally attest to Mr. Sterling's financial transparency, especially his charitable contributions to the Faith and Family Foundation." "Oh, here we go." Davis rolled his eyes theatrically. "Another conservative bedtime story about family values." The gallery shifted uncomfortably. Even the prosecutor looked embarrassed. "Let me be clear," Davis continued, now fully leaning into his rage. "I've seen enough rich men try to hide behind religion and charity to wash their hands clean. Your presence here? It only makes me more suspicious of the defendant." Vance remained calm. "I'm not here to defend politics, Your Honor. I'm here to share the facts. I have documents detailing Mr. Sterling's contributions, meeting records, deposit logs, verified audits." "You will not turn this court into a media circus," Davis shouted. "Those records are inadmissible." "No objection has been raised," the defense lawyer stood slowly. "On what grounds, Your Honor?" "Contempt. That's the grounds," Davis roared. "One more word from you and you'll be joining your client in jail." D. Vance's eyes didn't flinch. He slowly reached for his briefcase. "Perhaps we should review the March 15th meeting minutes." "Enough!" Davis shouted, eyes wide. His face turned ghostly pale. The air in the courtroom shifted again. The judge's hand, now visibly trembling, hovered over a folder on his desk. A folder that hadn't been there earlier this morning. One man stayed calm. The other began to fall apart. Judge Davis stared at the folder on his bench like it was a ticking bomb. JD Vance's voice, still calm, cut through the thick silence. "Your Honor, those meetings, specifically March 15th, contain details relevant to this case." Davis's fingers twitched. "Not relevant," he snapped. Not admissible. This is all political theater." Vance took a small step forward. "I believe the Liberty Foundation was discussed during that meeting, along with specific financial distributions." The color drained from Davis's face. "There were no such distributions," he barked. "Remove him! Guards!" But the courtroom guards hesitated. The weight of the moment was sinking in, and everyone could feel it. Even the clerk, who had taken every note for years, now looked unsure. "I have here," Vance said, holding up a folder, a series of bank records showing offshore deposits, each one aligning perfectly with rulings made against conservative defendants, including a $100,000 deposit dated the morning after the Mitchell case. The gallery gasped. "You liar!" Davis shouted, standing abruptly. "You planted this. This is entrapment, conspiracy." "No conspiracy," Vance said. "Just evidence, collected legally, and you're welcome to deny the payments, though your signature is right here." He turned a page. Davis's hands shook. This is a setup. I want him out. Now!" But no one moved. Not the clerk, not the officers, not even the court reporter whose pen had stopped moving. For the first time, Marshal Davis wasn't the law. Power, when cornered by truth, always breaks loudest. "I am a federal judge," Davis bellowed, his voice cracking. "You think you can walk in here with your smug evidence and your smug face?" Vance didn't even flinch. "Your Honor, perhaps we should also review the Liberty Foundation's internal transfers the day before the Wilson hearing." Davis's entire body jerked like he'd been slapped. "How do you—" "Those meetings were sealed. Confidential." Vance calmly laid another folder on the bench. "Confidential meetings with representatives from the Foundation, followed by sealed rulings, followed by financial deposits. A pattern. You can't—" "I won't. Guards! Arrest this man. Seize those files. Now!" But the officers didn't move. They were no longer following the robe. They were watching the truth. "Perhaps," Vance continued, "you'd also like to explain why the Thompson case was dismissed without allowing charity evidence, just days after a private dinner with the plaintiff's CEO." Davis began to tremble. "You think you're clever. This is a setup, a conservative trap. You're all puppets. You're all traitors." He threw his gavel, missing Vance by inches. "I said arrest him." Silence. Even the gallery was frozen. One officer finally stepped forward, but not toward Vance. "Sir," he said gently, "you need to step away from the bench." He screamed, "I am the law." Then the real law walked through the door. "You can't do this to me," Davis shrieked, backing away from the bench. "I have immunity. I have connections. I am the law." "No," said a calm voice from the back of the courtroom. "You were the judge, but now you're the defendant." Heads turned. A team of FBI agents strode into the courtroom, badges flashing under the lights. "This court is now under federal investigation," the lead agent announced. Judge Marshall Davis stepped away from the bench. "You're under arrest." Davis's face went white. "No! This is a conservative ambush. You're working with him. Vance, Trump, all of them. I won't be silenced." He tried to lunge for the documents, but the agents restrained him. "You don't understand," he screamed. "The Foundation, they forced me. They own everything." "If I talk, then talk," the agent replied calmly. "And tell us everything." As Davis was cuffed and led out of the courtroom, he turned back, his voice shaking with hatred. "You think this changes anything? You'll never stop us all." Vance stood tall, meeting his eyes. "You're right," he said. "There will always be corruption. But there will also always be those who fight it. Justice isn't loud, but when it comes, everyone hears it." In the days that followed, Judge Davis's arrest sent shockwaves through the legal world. Multiple cases were reopened, whistleblowers came forward, and for the first time in years, Americans saw proof that power doesn't always protect the guilty. Sterling's charges were dismissed. Sarah Mitchell got her life savings back. The Wilson case files were unsealed, and the Liberty Foundation, its board resigned, one by one. But perhaps the most powerful moment came quietly. When JD Vance walked out of the courtroom that day, a free man, not because of politics, but because truth still mattered. If you believe in standing for truth even when it's unpopular, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that matter. Let us know in the comments, would you have stood up in that courtroom?